For this screencast, I'm going to go into more detail about exactly how you change the style sheet on your website. So to start with, I'm here on my web page, and what I'd like to do is to change the color of the links. So currently they're orange. So first of all, as I showed you in the previous screencast, I'm going to right click on the element and go down to Inspect Element. And that will bring up the web inspector down here. So over on the right hand side, I can see all the different styles that are being applied to this link. So I can see that there's specific color, font size, line height, margins, padding, etc. Scrolling down on this right hand side pane, you can see the specific styles that this link is drawing from. So in my theme, in the style sheet will be this chunk of text, and that's what's determining the color. So what I can actually do is, usually what I would do is just copy one of these, so Command C, and then in my other tab I've got loaded up my style sheet, so that's under Appearance, Editor, and then usually your style sheet will show up straight away. If not, it's over here on the right hand side, you can click on that. If you click once inside the style sheet, hit Command F for find, so that's on a Mac. On a PC it's Control F, and then paste in that term that I just copied, and you'll see that it'll find where that is in the style sheet. So this is my orange color, and I can check that D7-8A47 by going back over here and just checking that that orange was, yes, D7-8A47. So I found where it is now in my style sheet that I need to change. Back on Inspect Element, I'm going to try out a few different colors first just to see what I like. So I can double click the color here and make sure you leave that first hash sign at the start of the hex code. And the first one I'll just try is a A3, 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 which is a light grey color. So you'll see now that my link up here is that grey color. I don't really like that because it's it's not bold enough. It fades out a little bit on the site. So I'm going to try something else, maybe a slightly darker grey. Maybe grey isn't the color that you want to go with for the links on your site, but that's just what I'm using for this example. So I now think, okay, that's the color that I want for my links to be, is 6 7s, 7 7 7 7 7 7. So I just have to go back into my style sheet, back to this color here, and I'm just going to delete it and put in those 6 7s and update file. Coming back into my page, I'm just going to do a refresh, and I hold down Shift while I click on the refresh button to do a super refresh and make sure that it takes from the new style sheet. Sometimes you have to do that a couple of times, and there it is. So now it's grey. So something else that I might want to change is that, see, when it hovers, it's got an underline. So I'm not sure I want that. So again, I'm going to inspect that element. What I actually want to do instead is I want to have it being underlined all the time, and when someone hovers over it, I want the underline to disappear. So over here on the right hand side, and the underline, the terminology for that in CSS is text decoration. So I can see over here I've got text decoration is none, so there's no underline. Just to make sure, I'll change this to underline, and you can see that now my link is underlined. So again, I'm just going to copy part of that selector, come over here to my style sheet and paste it in. Now this particular one has come up with 14 matches, as you can see up here. So I might just scroll through until I get to the right one, and this is it here. I'm going to change to text decoration underline. And right underneath it, you can actually see the hover element. So A means link, and then hover means what happens to that link when you hover over it. So you can see it's currently got text decoration underline. I'm going to change that to none. So what I'm doing is saying when there's an A, just a link, or a visited link, my text is going to be underlined. When there's an A that's hovered, I'm going to have no text decoration. So that's what I just changed. So again, update the file. Go back to my page and do a super refresh. Okay, so now my link is underlined, and when I hover over it, the underline disappears. Sometimes changing the color of something is not as easy as that, because sometimes it's actually that the color is coming from an image. An example of that would be my background image here. So I'm going to right click on that and inspect element. And let's say that I don't want it to be black like that anymore. But the problem is that my background image is actually coming, my background color is actually coming from an image. So if I scroll down here on the right hand side, I can see that the body background has a color but also an image. And when it has an image as well as a color, that image is going to override the color. So I can hover over that image link and see what the path is to the image that's being used. Additionally, I can right click on it and say open link, and that will show me what that image looks like. So I can see up here that it's like a grey stripe and then a black stripe and then a grey stripe. So if I wanted to change that black color, I'd actually have to edit the image and re-upload it using FTP onto the site. That's not something that I can just do in the style sheet. So again, inspect element is telling me what that element is comprised of, whether it's an image or text or a graphic, something like that. And that will give me clues on how I'm able to change.